Hey, this video is to my friend David. If you're watching, I'm happy to be here to encourage you, and I hope you'll take a little time to listen. This probably won't be the only video. Maybe we can connect a little bit, but please don't just dismiss this as another adult talking at you. I want to talk with you. And first off, I want to acknowledge that, first, that this is an epic fail of a hair color. I get it. It's way too light. So when you say, hey, Miss Linda, what happened to your head? Yeah, I get it. I got to fix it. And the second thing is, being a teenager is the hardest thing, maybe one of the hardest things that you'll ever have to do. It's such a challenging time. The whole world is throwing all kinds of information at you. Everybody's got great expectations, and it's hard if you don't have all the tools that you need to navigate and to cope. You've been through a lot of difficult, different situations, and I think you just need to get a little help with your coping skills. And so I hear with my heart, I hear with my ears that you're frustrated, beyond frustrated, you're angry. I get that. But I need to talk to you a little bit about that anger, because the root of anger is fear. And you can look at me and say, Miss Linda, I'm not afraid of anything. And I get on the surface, you don't feel like you are. I get that. But when difficult situations arise, we either walk towards them and we deal with them and figure out ways to cope with them and we get through the situation, or we come up against something hard so that we would just get through it, or we come up against something hard and we don't know what to do. We can't figure out how to get over it. We can't figure out how to get through it. And so we're kind of stuck in that place. And so there's feelings with that. So what do you do with those feelings? Because anger is very real. It tells you that something ain't right. There's red flags going off. And so if we don't know what to do with those feelings, or we don't know how to deal with a difficult situation, we just check out. It's fight or flight. And when you choose to get involved with drugs or alcohol, and it's out of control, and it's your way of coping with the world, that's just your way to hide. It's just your way to cover those feelings. It's just, it's your numbing. You just numb. You numb to the situation. All of that wears off. The situation is still there. So here we go again. It's just this vicious cycle. And I get that there's been difficult communication with your mom. I get that there's been, and I need to have a call with her again. We need to talk about how you guys can effectively communicate. I get that. I get that this is not all David's fault. I so get that. There's a lot of things that brought you to this place. There just are. And I want to help talk you through it. I'm not a doctor. I don't play a doctor on TV. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm a parenting coach. You know me. I've been a parenting coach for longer than you've been alive. And I hope that you trust that. I hope that you trust that I love you for who you are. You are not the mistakes that you have made. You're not a mistake. You being born was not a mistake. You're not, you just are who you are. I love David. I just love who you are. Do I like what you're doing? Yeah, no. Do I agree with your choices? Yeah, probably not. Do I understand that it's difficult being 15-year-old or however old you are right now? Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. And I just want to help coach you through this. If you remember it all, I teach parenting in prison. I go in to help people who have made a lot of mistakes, anywhere from they're in for drug issues or for murder. They are not what they did. They're not what they're doing. You're not characterized by what you're doing. You've made mistakes, made bad choices. People walk out the consequences of their choices, but that's not who you are. You're also not part of any kind of legacy for people that have come before you, for any parental mistakes, anything that maybe your parents did wrong doesn't mean that that's your legacy, that that's what's going to happen to you or for you. I just want to lay that groundwork. I want you to trust that I want to help give you tools to help you navigate what's going on. Do I want you to go home? Yeah, that's what I want. You do you. But I want to help you work through your circumstances for a really great outcome. Recently, I heard a story about buffalo. So buffalo are really happy. I really like thinking about the strength and the power in a buffalo. But do you know that when there's a storm and out, like in the wide open, cows will run with the storm. There's a storm coming behind them and they're just kind of running away from it. But basically they're running with it, because the longer that, that storm is coming and they're running, but that storm winds up with them. And so they stay in the storm. Not so a buffalo. A buffalo sees a storm, turns and runs toward it. Runs toward that storm so that it gets through that storm, and that storm's going this way and that buffalo is already out from under it. I want to see you become a buffalo. I don't want to see you become the cattle that just run. They're running from a situation, but it just prolongs the situation. I want to see you be a buffalo. I want to see you see a circumstance, look at it, figure out how to deal with it and get through it and not prolong it. Because I know that you are that intelligent. I know you're extremely intelligent. You just got to harness that and use it for good. You just really and truly do. I know that this is not the way you want to spend your entire life. The things that are going on for you now, this is not what you want your future to look like. I get that. But unless you make some different choices now, this is what your future is going to look like. I don't think you want to present. So let's just say, let's look at the future. And you want to get married and you want to have children. So what kind of woman is going to be attracted to a guy that's really not looking like they're going to finish school? So you're really not going to have a decent job. You're just not. And if she's smart, she's going to look at your relationship with your mom and if you're respectful to her or not, how you're physically treating women, emotionally treating women. She's going to look at whether or not you can give her security or whether you're going to go off like that in your anger. There's a lot of things that she's going to look at. And now is a really good time to make some corrections so that you can have the future that you want. I know that you have plans that you would like to see great things happening in your life as you become an adult, but those choices are happening now, but there's still time for correction. So if you want to give me a chance and you want to watch some YouTube videos, I'd be glad to talk to you about some coping skills, some ways to figure out what you can do next that's positive. I'd be glad to talk with your mom about how you guys communicate so that it's effective communication. Nobody wants to be yelled at all the time. She doesn't want to be yelled at. You don't want to be yelled at. And there's things that we can do to make this better. And so I want to help you do that. And any other teen that's watching this. Now, if we wind up with a whole lot of trolls and a whole lot of crazy people on here, we'll just go to a private YouTube and we can stay connected that way. I think that's possible. I'm new to this. But I want you to trust me, and I want to help you find that voice of reason that's in here so you can have your best life. That's what it's all about. You're going to live a long time, and it's as long as you straighten up some of your choices. And I want you to live your best life, not your lowest common denominator life. I want you to make choices. Now, You say you're not, probably going to say to me, I'm not afraid of anything. And I know that there's a lot of choices that you're making because you feel like you want to control things, because then that kind of blots out some of the crazy, the chaos. But if you're just existing at the lowest common denominator for your life, you're really not in control of anything. You're just letting life push you. And when life pushes you and you don't know what to do with it, you just vomit anger or you numb it. And so I think I'm reading that right. And you can correct me on all of this. But what if you could figure out how to make some choices, even within the context of everything that's going on that's still chaotic, and you could begin to make those choices to have the best life that you want. Now, I know your mom's talked to you about this before, and probably counselors have. I get that. We keep learning. Our brains are not even fully developed until we're 21, or maybe even a little bit older. Some people say 25. Let's just go with 21. There's a lot that we can still layer after layer. I'm almost 63 and I'm learning all the time, layer after layer after layer. So what if I'm just another voice of encouragement that says we can figure out how to do this? Your anger doesn't have to rule your life. You don't have to numb the circumstances or numb yourself in order to be able to get through the circumstances. I know you think that this is fun or whatever else on some level, but I know you're way too smart to know that this is the actual answer and the life that you want. And so what if we do this together? What if we figure this out and make some good choices and go after the life that you want, not just try to survive the one that you have? What about that? Anyway, this is an opportunity. Went on a little bit longer than I wanted to, but if you know me, you know how I talk. And I love you unconditionally, just because you're a creation of Christ. God made you. You're not a mistake. Your life is not a mistake. And I just want to do what I can to help you get to the life that you want. Let me know, mister. I'm going to find a way to get this YouTube to you, and let's just move forward from here. Love you like crazy, mister, and we'll talk again soon.